Welcome back, guys, to the Calisthenic Hub. I got Kalep here. Thank you again, guys, for watching. For those of you new to the channel, thank you guys for watching my channel, subscribing, liking. Please feel free to comment. You know, I reply to all my comments, so please do so. And Kalep, again, thank you for your time, brother. I really appreciate it, man. You're all the way in LA, I believe, right?
Yes, sir. All the way in LA. And thank you for even inviting me to the show.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Thank you, brother. So let's get to it, guys. Let's get to know Kalep. And let's get to know a little bit about him on his journey with calisthenics. So, Kalep, how old are you? We know that you're from Los Angeles, California, and when you started calisthenics.
I started calisthenics. Let's see, I'm 27 now. I started about 5 to 6 years ago.
5 to 6 years ago. What inspired you? Like, what inspired you? What motivated you? Was there a specific athlete, maybe even a move, like a skill set that got you into it, or what was your inspiration?
So I've been a football athlete my entire life, and so around middle school, around like 6th or 7th grade, I stumbled across like some guy doing a full planche. I never knew what it was at the time, and it was on YouTube, and like that was like the first thing I ever seen. It's like I want to learn how to do that, like 100%, because you got to be strong. And so like that was the initial kick. That so. Like learning how to do the wall handstand push-ups and stuff like that. But I really didn't like dive into like full-on calisthenics until after I got back home from college, and that was when I was like 19 in 2012.
Got it. So you was active as a kid, right? So you played football, maybe amongst other sports, and you was an active kid. Did you feel like because you started training somewhat, I guess, basic, let's call it, right? You were doing the basics like the pull-ups, the push-ups. As a teenager,
so like,
as you were saying,
like so as far as like football, it always kept me like working out, and like my dad, he was a bodybuilder growing up, so like I kind of already had a nice, decent foundation as far as strength, and like you said, as activity, I'm always out doing something when it comes to the sport.
So in the beginning, what did you find challenging? Because you were pretty active, you had a pretty solid foundation, because we already know that football alone is a pretty contact sport. So, and you build strength, So, and I'm sure I've seen the workouts. They're pretty much bodyweight movements as well, especially on the drills on the field. What at the beginning did you find challenging for yourself with calisthenics?
I would say like putting my ego in check, because like football, football is a real egotistical sport, because it's basically two guys versus each other, you know what I mean? And whoever's stronger is going to be able to...
A lot of testosterone, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Whenever, I would see a guy do a certain movement that I want to do, egotistically, I'm thinking like, I can do that, no problem, because I'm strong. Like, I got football strength.
Right.
But I didn't understand was like the progression that is required in calisthenics to do certain movements. Like I was trying to do a full planche, not even know how to even hold a tuck planche. You know what I mean? And so like, that was the thing, is that like being able to actually like in my mind regress, the whole like just get out there and go do it, and actually understand like we got to be patient. We got to actually figure out smaller building blocks to build up to like a full planche or something like that.
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. So pretty much in the beginning, you would say it was your getting over your ego, and also just not having the knowledge. That was pretty much the challenge for you in the beginning, right? And then you mentioned that at 19, when you came back from college, you kind of decided to go, I'm not, let's say, full-fledged with calisthenics. So you had weight training as well, I suppose, right?
Yep.
That's required, I guess, in football. So like, be stocky. You got to just be big to.
That's for sure.
Exactly. So now that you decided to go in at 19, if you can recall, what was challenging then? That you had mass already, and you're already like past the I guess the teenage year, going into the 20s and stuff. What did you find challenging then? Because I'm sure you probably got over the ego and you did some more research at that point, right?
Yeah.
Or you still had a little ego in there? Because sometimes, the ego is hard to get over sometimes. I'm over here still trying to do things that I'm supposed to not be doing, just to test my strength out. But guys, this is not, don't take that. That's a disclaimer. That's just me testing my strength out. And what happened as a result of that is I got an injury on my wrist. So I'm much better now, though. But, don't take it from me, guys. Prevent that. Yeah. But as you were saying, what was challenging?
If anything, you brought it up. It was injury. And like I could probably still show you on my shoulder, but when I first actually like learned the muscle up and like was able to do like just multiple repetitions, it got to a point where I started going crazy, just doing reps, even when like my muscles are dead sore tired. I'm just banging out the reps, and I'm doing it more so out of like the pure enjoyment of like being able to do muscle ups, but not understanding that I'm actually overworking myself by doing all these reps.
Yeah.
And that was like the next challenge, is creating that awareness that like it's good that I can do a movement and, you know, I feel pretty confident in it, but it got to a point where I'm overworking the movement and not necessarily making good positive gains for like the next movement. Yeah. You know what I mean? So like, I would say it definitely the injury, because there were times where, just pain, whatever. It'll go away eventually, but it only gets worse as we keep working, basically.
Yeah, that pain no gain mentality sometimes can definitely get to us, because you know it's been a mantra in workout: no pain, no gain, right?
Absolutely.
But with calisthenics, there's the different pains that you should be more aware of and not just like fight through. And that's what I'm like really getting to know my body a little better. I'm sure you probably over the years have developed that awareness of the body and that mind muscle connection.
That's one thing I actually appreciate about calisthenics the most, is that like as much weightlifting I've did over the years of football, I've never felt like so in tune as, or even just aware of like how my body's feeling, how I felt the day before, and how I expect it to feel.
Let's talk about your trainings nowadays. How do they differ from before to now? Like, what's the major difference of your trainings?
So my major difference is it's less about like trying to get like the workout pump or like that fatigue feeling. It's more now focused on like just strictly performance. So I have a specific goal on certain exercises, and between 3 and 5 sets, I'm using those sets to like maximize as many reps I can do within those sets. And then basically my workouts don't really vary as far as selection exercise or variations, just because it's like, for me in the past, I've added so many exercise and variations that like my body don't get a chance to actually recognize what's actually going on.
Okay.
But now, like using just only a select few groups of exercises, like I feel a lot more, I guess, prepared, and then more in tune on like trying to push for more reps versus like just hoping that I do more reps and the progression comes. So I would say that just like slowing things down, less reps or less exercises, and more focused on getting more reps each time I come back to an exercise.
Got it. So you pretty much, like you said, you took out some of the variation to not make it too much of a selection. So that's right. Your body just always constantly confused, to actually measure progression with select movements and then go from there.
Absolutely.
So it sounds like you restructured your training a lot, and you listen to your body over the time. What's your favorite training now?
My favorite right now, I like training for the handstand, or the 90-degree handstand push-up. Right now, that's like my biggest feat right now, because I stumbled across like doing it one time, trying to save a handstand, and it blew my mind. I'm like, yeah, I need to achieve this.
Okay, so you thought it was going to be a failure, but in reality, you kind of pushed into a push-up, handstand push-up, pretty much.
Yeah.
You was going to save a handstand, right? So I just picture you coming down into it and then coming back up.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm going to a handstand push-up. I felt like my balance changed, and then like I just shifted forward and felt myself drop to that 90-degree. I was just like, what the hell is this?
Dude, and then that shit was awesome.
Moment, I'm like, yeah, I want to do reps of these. No problem.
I'm glad you brought that 90-degree handstand push-up, because I saw recently you posted I'm not sure if it's on your story or on your feed, but you posted using the rings, bro, and you were using the rings like in a way of like a counterbalance.
Yeah.
Dude, that was like, oh man, see, this is why I love the calisthenics community. A new way for me to use my rings to practice.
Part, exactly.
Like, I was like, oh man, that's when I saw that, I was like, dude, that's like Goku training there, man. Awesome.
I feel like because when I first started, the first piece of equipment I bought was a pull-up bar and gymnastic rings. Yeah. And like ever since, like I've always fell in love with gymnastic rings, like you said, because it's like how much they offer. If you feel confident enough and you want to explore with them things, like you can come up with some crazy variations for some stuff.
Yeah, and not only the versatility, but also the instability that it adds to any workout. Like you could be a novice, you could be advanced and expert, goddamn near. I don't know who's right now of Alien Beast as the top competitors. So many athletes, man. So many athletes. Let's call Victor
Yeah.
Kavanaugh, you know, because I've
Right,
seen him do
right.
some crazy things on rings too. Like you know, you could be one of those guys and still make it hard for yourself. Like
100%.
rings will
Exactly.
make things so difficult, and
Definitely.
you get so strong. You get so strong. You get so strong. So now we know what you like to do. Let's talk about what you don't like to train at.
So me, I do not like training front levers. I'll be straight up. Like my ego, it gets stung every time I do it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for being honest with us, man.
Yeah, and like for me, like I've always been like really strong when it comes to push exercises. Like football is a pushing type of a sport, you know what I mean? So we're forced to bench press, 200, 300 something pounds. So pushing came with like somewhat ease, but pulling, grip strength wise, like I've always been running from it sometimes. So front lever has been like my biggest challenge.
And that's a big pull exercise. It's a lot of back requirement, core, and dude, like trust me, pull is something I struggle with because I've been strong with push. But yeah, I completely sympathize and I understand that. Definitely.
Got you.
Cool. A lot of, believe it or not, like I said, I've been doing this project for some time now, for like two or 3 weeks, and now I'm realizing pool's not something that's that liked in the community. Although, like once you get it, it's awesome, but it's something that is. It's also not. I'm not gonna say not liked. I'm just gonna say a challenge. It's a challenge. Yeah. It's a challenge for a lot of us.
If anything, that makes me feel a little more secure because I thought I was the only one.
Oh no. I mean, dude, I always say like people that say, oh, I can lat press, lat pull downs this much, and I'm like, oh, can you pull yourself up?
That part.
Like, you could probably pull down 200, 300 pounds, but can you pull yourself up? And then, all right, great, you did one. Now, how much weight can you add on top of that? Relative strength.
100,
there's
exactly.
Absolute strength, and then there's relative strength. That's what I'm learning about calisthenics. It's more relative strength and what you can do with your body. And then,
for sure,
once you get to weighted calisthenics, that's a different thing. Do you practice weighted calisthenics?
Yeah, I do. So, like, as far as like dips and pull-ups or chin-ups, basically are my main focus when it comes to weighted calisthenics. Sometimes like weighted push-ups, but those two are like my main two of my programming. Calisthenics has a nice way of like introducing more and more stuff when it's like you just scratching the surface.
and that one extra movement makes the push movement that much harder. In my 100%. Opinion, just getting the scapular protraction into the full push-up. I saw my count drop, and I'm like, all right, this is how you really do a push-up now. I could really tell now, and I'm sure you can agree on anything.
Most definitely.
Once you find the strict form and you see the benefit too. Now that we know a little bit about your workout routine and your regimen, right? Let's talk about nutrition and recovery, because we already know that's a huge part of any workout routine or regimen.
Absolutely.
How do you structure your recovery to supplement your or complement your workout?
So as far as recovery, I do foam roll, or one thing I'm a huge advocate for is running. Whether it's at a sprint pace or for long distances, depending on like the intensity, you can actually help yourself recover just from upper body workout. But as far as in terms of like outside of that, foam rolling, I do own also like a little massage gun that I basically like to bust out.
Yeah, those things are amazing. I don't own one, but my friends do, and those things are awesome, bro. I gotta invest into one.
Seriously, especially when like after like heavy lat pull days, like this thing is probably like my girlfriend basically.
Yeah.
But outside of that, that's like my main focuses as far as recovery. I do also have like this. It's called a Whoop band. It's like a fitness tracker. And also tracks like your sleep, heart rate, blah blah blah.
I saw you put that up on some of your feed. Yeah, talk to me about that. Like that's pretty cool, especially the sleep aspect. We should always be sleeping adequate amount of time.
Exactly, and so like, well, I'm actually glad you said that, because like the adequate amount of time that we think that we're sleeping, we're kind of like, or at least for me, I was wrong. So like I think I'm spending 6 to 8 hours in bed. Sleep, but in reality, I'm spending maybe 6 hours in bed and spending 5 hours sleep. You know what I mean? And
Right,
then
because it takes us about an hour to get into the REM sleep or so. Then that's
exactly.
It. There's no fussing and turning in the bed. Yeah, absolutely. Because daily
right.
bro. Daily stresses. Absolutely, I hear you.
100%. And then, and even then, like you said, REM sleep is one of the phases in our sleep. Also, we have deep sleep, and deep sleep is where like actual tissue recovery begins to happen.
Oh, see, I thought it was REM sleep. That's even deeper stages.
Yeah.
Cool.
So like, one thing I've noticed just from looking at the fitness trackers that I get maybe between 15 to 45 minutes of deep sleep. The average human should get around 2 hours. And so, like, for me just thinking about that, like, okay, well, there's a huge window of recovery that I'm missing because I'm not getting in the proper stage of sleep.
Okay.
So now, like, my next focus when it comes to sleep is like, how can I actually create an environment or the routine to get myself into more deep sleep to get a better recovery.
Wow, that's never thought about that in this whole time that I know sleep was a part of it, right? And resting, so to speak. But like, never calculated my time. I've always thought like, I guess I turn off the TV around this time and
right.
Time. So this is about how many hours I sleep. And you're right though. You're right, because sometimes you don't really get that sleep. There's nights that you toss and turn. There's nights that maybe it's your breathing that's keeping you from getting into full sleep.
And that's huge.
Because a lot of people suffer from like sleep apneas and just breathing things. Like you said, you're getting into a routine or an environment, right, of sleep. And I feel like that's really important. What are you doing as far as that? Like, are you like doing calming teas? Are meditating? Are you, putting on some the Himalayan salt lamps? Like, what's going on? What's going on?
So like, as far as when it comes to routines right now, I'm trying out this tea that a friend of mine basically recommended me. It's a sleep tea. I forgot the brand.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm trying a sleep tea 30 minutes.
Natural thing?
Yep, all natural. Trying that 30 minutes before bed. Prior to bed, I'm basically cutting my phone off, or at least putting on the night mode so I can dim the blue light and everything else.
Yeah.
I live at my parents' house, so I can't always control the AC. But when I do get the chance, I try to like get my room down to like 68, 67 degrees. Because basically, like, from just reading, it's been said that like that temperature helps you get into like a sleep a lot quicker. Outside of that, I'm just doing those three things just so I can kind of like see how my body responds to it in terms of deep sleep. And that's really about it as of right now.
Any improvements?
I started about a week ago. I've seen like one fluctuation. One night I did get like an hour and 15 minutes of like deep sleep, which I was surprised about. Way noticeable difference as far as an energy, but don't know exactly what caused it because I'm basically back down to doing like 25, 30 minutes of deep sleep now.
Well, LA has a big cannabis community. Do you feel like that have you introduced that into the routines or anything like that?
I'm actually like I smoke cannabis on the daily actually.
Okay. Yeah, I'm a cannabis consumer myself, but I had to ask. New York is not as open minded as other states are.
As West Coast, we know about the East Coast and y'all troubles over there.
Hopefully we get to reform.
That part, yeah.
Right. Yeah. So how has that, like, do you see a lot of athletes in LA? Because I've spoken to a few athletes in LA, and you say you're a consumer of cannabis yourself. Do you do it like smoking? You mentioned maybe edibles and oils as well, like for like ligaments, and joints.
So I'm definitely big on the oils. There's a shop I go to that basically supplies me with CBD oil.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I'm usually basically doing like smoking flower for the most part.
Cool.
Edibles here and there, every blue moon, but yeah, mostly flower for the most.
Mostly flower. Cool. Yeah, man. I feel like the CBDs definitely helps, and also like well, maybe just me. I just like to get high, but I feel like also it calms me down. The cycle after a good workout, I'll get a nice post meal in, and I just calm down, bro. It relaxes me, and I feel like that helps me with some sleep. I gotta measure my deep sleep. I gotta get one of those watches, man. I feel like my iWatch does it, but I guess I gotta figure out the features on it. I'm sure it probably does that too.
Yeah, I believe so. I think the Apple Watch does track your sleep and everything.
Yeah, the iWatch. I'll figure it out because you said you drink tea, so I can just kind of segue in there. You drink the tea, so let's talk about food.
Shall we?
What's your thought or your view on nutrition, and how do you structure your diet?
So me, like, when I basically first thing, I'm waking up around like 5 a.m. every morning. I'm not eating until like around 10 o'clock. So for the most part, I wake up, I go for a run. Before that run, I eat like half a banana. After the run, protein shake, and then like some oats of some sort, or maybe a granola bar. But then around like between 6 and like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, I'm not eating. I'm basically training clients. Afterwards, I have my first meal, then my workout.
Gotcha. So you're pretty much you're maintaining weight. You're not shredding or bulking. You're at maintaining weight.
Yeah, right now, I just got in contact with a dietitian like about a week ago.
Okay.
She just structured me a meal plan based off of like how I like to eat.
Sure.
And so
I'm glad
like
you brought that up because it's really important how you like to eat.
Exactly. Yeah, because it's like I've seen people have like meal plans. Oh yeah, you should be eating that. And it's like that's not my lifestyle. I can't do that.
And then no, if it doesn't work for you, there's a high possibility of you not following through. You're not going through with it. Like I always tell people, like, the way I structure my diet plan is just work on your strengths. What do you like to eat? And go off that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Luckily for me, I like vegetables, so it's easier for me. But for people who don't, just like, what vegetable do you like to eat? And just
exactly, and get a buttload of that.
Yeah, grow off that. Believe it or not, that's all you really need. Some sort of green in your body, exactly. And then the rest of the fats and the other stuff. But yeah, as you were saying, so she structured it in a way where you ain't gonna get bored of it. You're gonna like it. You're actually gonna enjoy it.
And then just as you mentioned, like I'm at a point now where actually I do want to add a little more mass to my body. I feel like that because like I'm at the lowest body fat I've been in a very long time, and I think that
set, bro.
Yeah, and I think that the lack of muscle I don't have is what's like kind of having plateau as far as making strength gains. So basically I got into contact with her so I can get some more muscle in my body through my dieting.
So you're doing like a lean bulk?
Yep.
We already spoke about deload. We spoke about nutrition and your also your past. Let's talk about a little bit about your motivation now. What keeps you fueled, man? What keeps you going?
Just like you mentioned before, it's like that idea of like mastering my body and being able to say, what, I want to do this at this very moment, and I know I can do it with confidence because I've done all the reps, I've done all the practice, I've done all the prerequisites. And to know that, when I go up into a handstand push-up, I still got some struggles, or, when I try a front lever, I'm not feeling like I can do a one-arm front lever. It's like, okay, I'm not there yet. So there's more work to be done. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
That's like my biggest thing. And then, I would say like I just in general, like my passion in fitness, like my dad literally scared me into being a personal trainer.
That's a good one. Okay, tell me about that. What you mean by that? Like he was like, you got to do this because you just.
Well, what's funny is like long story short, I'm like, I think I was 5th grade, 6th grade, and I just got into a fight. I got suspended and everything else. Me and my dad were leaving this car lot, and he says out of the blue, just randomly, like, one day you're gonna end up looking like me. And if you see my dad, he's basically like 6'5", probably around 300 something pounds, not stomach galore in the front. You know what I mean? And when I looked at him, and I asked myself, like, do you want to look like this? In my mind, it said, hell no. Do whatever you have to do to not look like that. Okay. To this day, like, that is like 100% like my driving force. I don't want to like fall into a position where I know I'm out of shape and I have to like find a way to be okay with it. You know what I mean? Like, I want to make sure my health is on point until there is no more time left for me.
Wow. That's awesome, brother. That's awesome. Yeah, for sure, man. For sure. And the motivation is to master our bodies. And I'm glad that you brought that up, because that's the end goal, man. That's the end goal.
Exactly.
No matter what, you don't have to. And also, guys, everybody's mastery of their body is different. So don't ever compare one's mastery to yours, because it's different. Just look for your mastery and I'm not going to say be content with that, but be happy with what you have accomplished. or what you want to accomplish, because everyone's journey is different, but we're all going to be the masters of our bodies here. But yeah, man, that's awesome, bro. I love that motivation now. And as we know, calisthenics, right, it not only breeds motivation and discipline, but also helps build the physical, right, the aesthetics of your body and the strength, and also builds a mind and muscle connection. But aside from that, what other areas of your life do you feel that calisthenics has impacted that you didn't foresee?
I would say it really opened my eyes to wanting to share what I know about calisthenics, and then also kind of get to know others or get to know what I don't know. You know what I mean? And in terms of like not trying to go on YouTube to see what other exercise I don't know, but more so like going to like Venice Beach or, you know, find the next calisthenics meetup to see, you know, who's there, you know, see, you know, what they know and whatnot. That will be for sure. Like yeah, that'll be it. Yeah, 100%.
So you feel like you found more of a community sense instead of just going into YouTube and looking at, you know, tutorials or how to do this or that. You rather go and, like you said, Venice Beach or do the next calisthenic link up or meetup. Yeah, that's dope, man. I like that. I like that a lot.
I also think that like most people now who are getting into the calisthenics community or the scene are being influenced from like Instagram, YouTube, or, you know, Facebook and whatnot. And basically a lot of those individuals are like literally starting out on their own, like as their own individual without a community, and they are seeing these communities out there and whatnot. And so like one thing I've experienced from the different side, you know, I'm actually helping somebody learn how to do a muscle up. They just flew out to, you know, LA for the first time for the first time in their lifetime, and they're getting to, you know, experience a calisthenics community, get something from it, and then leave with it, and to know that they can always come back to the community and be like, yo, I was here last time and they taught me this. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing I think most people aren't able to get, because like calisthenics is not as big as we're trying to make it right now. You know what
Absolutely. I mean? Absolutely, man. And also, a lot of people don't even have places to even train calisthenics properly in a safe environment.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
So I completely agree with you, man. I completely agree with you. But as we know, calisthenics, you don't need much equipment, so that's the cool thing about it. You know,
exactly.
I've seen people like online now that I'm, you know, going through this project and I'm, you know, scouting for athletes.
Yeah.
I've seen people do things on trees, on like the most randoms of like household items, and obviously that's probably not the safest way of doing things, but
hey, like if you're that hungry, hey,
the creativity is there, man. The
exactly.
Is there. And I love the ambition. Yo, I gotta get this done. I'm doing some body rolls on this table, and I love it. I'm like, all right, let's do it. Get them chairs together, get the table. Yeah, but I'm gonna get these in, and like that to me is motivation. It's like, no, if they doing it, there's no excuses, bro. There's no excuses.
Straight up, excuses,
man. No excuses. What setbacks have you encountered? You know, you've been practicing for 6 years. You know, you've also have a big fitness background. What setbacks have you encountered? Aside from injuries, because injuries is just prone to happen.
Oh, for sure. Setbacks is like balance. Because as you know, I'm a personal trainer, and when it comes to like the hours of trying to dedicate to, you know, your clients, and then the hours you want to dedicate to yourself, and sometimes even like you may acquire clients at inconvenient times that, you know, you need the money, blah blah blah. It just kind of just finding the balance, and just being disciplined about, you know, my times and when I dedicate it for, you know, my training and then for clients.
I completely agree with you, man. That is time management is something that's really important, and that we should all, it's a skill that we should all learn early on, or if not, start at it now. Because, dude, now that I'm doing this YouTube project, time management is becoming a huge aspect of my life, because of my personal training goals, and it's a challenge, man. It's a challenge.
Yeah,
and
most definitely.
But it's a challenge that, you know, I feel like, you know, over time you get better at it too. You know, and you get tools to help you too, and you learn things just like in the calisthenic journey or world, should I say? Our universe, our calisthenic universe. I like that. I'm gonna start using that. Let's talk about your future. Let's talk about
future.
That. Yeah.
So like,
what goals you have?
One thing right now, and like I'm still trying to like hold tight to it. But this whole pandemic thing is kind of hard to like, you know, hold on to this one. But A big goal of mine right now is to like get more like specifically calisthenics parks built in inner cities like Compton and the South Central LA. There are some parks, but a lot of these parks are also filled with equipment that are more for like older population.
I completely
And
understand what you mean, brother. It's
you
same
know what I
thing,
mean?
same thing here in New
In the
York.
day, like if you kind of look at older people, they're kind of staying in the house, and not because of the pandemic, but just in general. Like they're
Absolutely.
older, they're retired.
Yep.
They're not really out and about, and so like kind of to see those things and to know that like I started out by just going to a park or going to YouTube and then getting some small equipment, and to know that like all it takes is just a few parks built in certain cities, and you can literally start a community of its own by just supplying the equipment.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I think it just takes the same amount of work you're putting in to find the athletes and to to interview them, to let people know there are people out there. Same thing I have to do, kind of put in the work to whoever I got to talk to as far as government officials. Hey, we got to get these parks built because these people need it.
Yeah, man. Dude, whatever support you need, man, let me know, bro. If it's in my power to do so, I'm all for that initiative, man. That's dope, bro.
Most definitely, I appreciate that.
That's dope for sure, man. It's about getting the word out, and that's a beautiful way of doing it. Because you're not just thinking about like the now, you think about the future generations to come too, and that's how the sport grows as a community. Because there's a social aspect in the sport, and that I've seen.
Yep.
And if you can build that, and that would be great, man. Because not only that, it would also deter the next generation as far as the youth to do better things with their lives as opposed to aspiring to do other things because that's all they see or that's all they know because it is what it is, right? That's
yep.
I listen. Living in New York, I know the struggles that it is to be pretty much let's call it the truth, the hood.
Yep.
Stuff like that don't come around like that. So
nah,
if you have an opportunity to create that, man, in the hood, bro, listen, that's big ups, man. So you got my full support on that. 100%.
Much better, bro. Appreciate you
100%, man. That's awesome, bro. That's awesome. And I guess you answered my next question earlier. You said you're gonna do this to your die to the end of times for you, right? So I guess
yes, sir.
that answered my question. Are you gonna do this for the rest of your life? And yeah, he said it for sure. I bet you, Caleb is my man, the type of dude that he's gonna be doing muscle ups with grandkids on him.
100%, dog.
Yo, that's the way to calisthenics at that time.
Bro, I'm gonna be in my coffin doing like handstand push-ups.
There we go. There we go. I always said, bury me with my rings.
Most definitely. Straight up.
The good thing with calisthenics is that we can live long, healthy lives. Because this is a marathon, not a sprint, guys. This is a marathon. And with calisthenics, it builds longevity, it builds strength, not just the aesthetic wise, but the inner strength. It keeps you strong, keeps you mobile, and especially if you practice that for that. You train for mobility. It's a big aspect. It's a big aspect of calisthenics. So I see what you're doing in your community. What can we as a community together do and improve?
What can we do to improve? That's actually a really good question because like the calisthenics community, and if you kind of look at like the different communities, you have the weightlifting, you have the calisthenics. If you want to go in more specific, you got the powerlifters and whatnot. And I think every community has their culture, their way of thinking, everything else. And what's great, what I recognize about the calisthenics community is that like we're really open. We're really open to accepting other people, even if you come from a totally different background.
Absolutely.
And I think what we can probably improve is like maybe even like being more what's what I'm looking for? I guess tenacious about like showing the world that we are those type of people. You know what I mean? Like, cause I think we get this weird look like these guys are doing all these like circus tricks and everything else. I can't see myself doing that. And I think that they don't necessarily see that like, yo, we're actually even opening to teaching this stuff. Just come ask, or even just come join us. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I think if we can get that type of vibe out to the internet or even just people, I think that'll be the next catalyst to launching calisthenics into a way bigger sport than it is right now.
Yeah, man. I see that. And also, prior to it being known as calisthenics, I kind of piggyback to what you're saying. It's known as street workout, so that connotation, that stigma street. You know, it's viewed at it, in you know, we know it as bars because let's go hit the bars. But believe it or not, that's also known in Latin America and also in other European countries. You know, it's viewed as a street sport because why you see the broken down parks with the bars, the rusted bars, and who be at those parks is not the best of people, I guess. But they I'm not saying that they're not bad people. I'm not saying they're good people, but just people doing what they're not supposed to be doing as per the law. But it is what it is. Like but because of that, parks are usually associated with these type of people. That workout is also going to be associated with that type of lifestyle. That that let's call it drug dealing lifestyle. That lifestyle, which in reality people just be out there training, man. And I'm realizing that. So like if we can change that, and I think that calisthenics is a good way of uplifting the sport from that bad stigma of street workout. I think it's a good way of doing so, because it's creating a better, like I guess, a more marketable word. As opposed to street workout. But I'm always gonna pay my respect and homage to what is all known throughout the world.
Oh yeah, straight up.
Yeah, for
everybody
sure.
know that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But like I said, I just wanted to piggyback off that because it's right that you said that this community as calisthenics street workout is a very inclusive community, no matter where you're from. Like that's what I like about this. It's like could be a guy from China doing freaking muscle up, and he'll come over here doing muscle up, and he'll be he's
still gonna get mad love.
Mad love. It doesn't matter, bro. Like as far as your like if you come from poverty or if you were wealthy or if you your background, your I'm sure. I still haven't seen it, but your sexual orientation. I'm gonna get to the point where I'm sure it's gonna come out. Like it's just a matter of time, and it doesn't matter. Like as long as you're mastering your body, as long as you do what we're doing, man, and you bring good vibes, and it's the vibes too is very important. Good vibes. You don't want no negative people, So
nice, straight up.
But yeah, man, I really agree with you. We could do that as a community to improve and let them know that we're very inclusive. It doesn't matter where you're from, how old are you, what's your sex, what's your orientation. It doesn't matter. We really open community. Because at the end of the day, like as we were mentioning through this interview and through this conversation, rather, master of our bodies, man. That's the end game. That's the end game, man.
We also got a common goal, basically.
Yeah. I agree with you, man. So, last question.
Yeah.
How would you see your life now after 6 years training in calisthenics and so much you want to accomplish in a community, personal goals and whatnot, and also business goals? How do you see yourself without calisthenics, if you could? Like, what would life be without? Like, if you couldn't do that,
dude. To be straightforward, and I hope this isn't too harsh for the YouTube, but I would probably not be here having this conversation or even on this earth right now. Straight up, dog. Like,
listen, man, that's some raw. That's raw right there, bro. Thanks.
No,
man.
Seriously, cause like the path I was seeing, I was going down prior to like letting calisthenics lead my life. It was like, and to look back on it now, it's like, whoa, like I was heading down, and it's like literally like by just deciding to do handstands and shit like that, like a whole 360, bro. Total 360. You know what I mean?
Dude, big ups to you, man, for that. Big ups to you, bro. Big props, man. And yeah, man, like I said, this has been a positive thing for me, and I'm sure it has been for you, as you just stated. And I feel like anyone that gets into it, they see the positive benefits, not just the physical aspect, but it changes your life, man. It changes your life, and in some cases, it can save your life.
Man, it's 1000%. Especially like on the commitment level, it can be something as small as just like want to learn a couple of push-ups, and by just even achieving that, like you said, you can change your life in the whole 360 direction, bro. For sure.
And we're not talking about just lying on the bar. We're talking about literally changing your life around.
No doubt, exactly.
Changing your life around. I had to put that together. Straight to mind.
Yeah.
But dude, man, it's been an honor to share your story. Thank you for sharing that with us, man. I really appreciate that, man. Caleb, how about you let us know where we can follow you on the social medias?
Follow me on _infinite strength as far as Instagram. That's my own social media right now. I'm working on getting a YouTube channel. I'll have that like posted on my gram for people who decide to follow.
Well, listen, I'll tell you about that later. But guys, be sure to follow my boy. Please show him some love. If you're in LA, you need some personal coaching, You know who to
Hit
holler
me
at.
up. Let me know.
You know who to holler at. You know, like he's doing crazy things. That, like, you know, but again, he knows the right steps. He's doing it for 6 years. It's all about progression and doing things safely, guys. And Kalep got you. Infinite strength, guys. All right. I'll be sure to put that in the descriptions. And once the YouTube channel comes out, depending on the timing of the video on the YouTube, we'll put that in the descriptions too. So
Most def.
for sure, man. It's all about spreading the word of calisthenics. And Kalep, thank you again, brother. I really appreciate your time, man.
If anything, thank you for the interview again. Like, thank you for allowing me to even share my story and you know, you being so open and asking the questions that you asked. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, man, for sure, man. It's like I said, let's grow together, man. As a community, we have an opportunity for us all to grow the sport to where it needs to be and get it recognized. And hopefully one day we can represent our countries in the Olympics or in the X Games, bro. I think that'd be
most def. I can see that happening for sure.
But I think the what will give me most joy is if I can inspire somebody or if I can change somebody's life through this channel, just by showing that, you know, my man's doing handstand push-ups, back levers, and all types of stuff, but yet he started from nothing, like everybody else, man. And anybody can do it. Like you said in the beginning, anybody can do this.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. So, guys, thank you for watching. You guys already know. Follow, like, subscribe, share this with anyone who wants to get into the movement of calisthenics. Pretty much just move your body, get it going, get up from that couch, get up from that bed, wherever you're watching this video. Just get up and get it moving. If you need any help, be sure to follow my boy Kalep. We'll be putting the descriptions. You know, we'll put the link in the descriptions. You guys know what I'm saying. So
you already know.
Let's grow the community, guys.
Yes, sir. Let's grow.
Let's grow. And Kalep, thank you to you, bro. This is the Calisthenic Hub all the way from California, all the way from New York. You already know.
Yes, sir. Good looking.
Yeah.